It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. You've got The Local Show, the 2023 Halloween edition. And I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr.
Halloween? Just don't do that to me.
Yeah, well, it's
Halloween.
It'll be coming up during the week. Did you get your candy, your bags of candy?
No, Tom, no.
First thing Dr. Barry asked me, he said, "Are you a candy nut? Do you?" And I go, "No, I don't like candy."
Was he trying to say don't be? Was it leading?
He just thought that, possibly I might lean into candy, and I don't. I'm not a
my 9-year-old mom has a bag of candy by her bed, so I'm just saying. So go ahead, do that thing with your opening. I interrupted you. So
The Local Show features conversations about local businesses. We talk to the business owners, the CEOs and CFOs, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, business advocates, and other business-friendly organizations. We learn how they got into business, why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, and where their businesses might be going in the future. You're going to hear all about their successes, their challenges, opportunities, marketing, and advertising. We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. And we say hello to Steve again.
yeah, well, a little warmer.
Twice in one morning.
Warmer in the week. I'm going to be creeping out here in the evenings and then the more early mornings trying to catch the walleye. I did get one last week, cleaned it up, and to my wife's thrill, she wasn't there. She was out for the night, so I cleaned it, cooked it, ate it, and it was gone. Because every time I do, she's like, she sounds just like that, actually.
Right.
So, so I'm looking for to get my limit one night here and 5 walleyes.
Yeah, was her mother Charlie Brown's teacher?
No, not at all. When it comes to fishing, maybe. Maybe.
Did either one of you like frog legs?
I've had frog legs.
I used to when I was a kid.
Yeah. My grandmother loved frog legs.
Yeah,
when they're done right, they taste like chicken.
It is sad seeing the frogs wander around without legs. Though.
Well, it is. Yeah, that's tough.
There's a far side for that.
Yeah, right. I don't think they can grow them back, can they? That's terrible.
No.
Poor frogs. Anyway, we've got a great show packed up for you, ladies and gentlemen. Attorney John Murphy, the owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, will be with us. In the first segment, Lori Hunter Hollow Bunny B&B. She might bring a rabbit by. Going to pull a rabbit out of her hat. We'll have her on the show. Matt Major, the founder of Your Local IT Department, stops by. Julie Fleck from Care Patrol will tell us all about that business. Charlie Van Patten, owner of Mattress Maker, stops by. Chris Dambach is the owner of Industry Standard USA. He's a veteran and does some interesting stuff in the community. We'll talk with him. Brian Dumond, president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. He stops by, and then Troy Waffner is the CEO of the SPCA. So we're going to talk with him and see what they're doing with their dog and cat situation over there. Right now, we say good morning to Attorney John Murphy. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
Very good, my friend. Very
early here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you come off the high from the Living with Dementia conference that Sheila?
Oh yeah, thanks to Sheila Ostrom, I was able to address a room full of people.
A full room.
Yeah, it was great, very attentive audience, and would have been great for Q&A, but just too many people.
Yeah.
And the moderator did a great job, Melissa Murphy, and Sheila did a great job putting this on, and I was just happy to be part of it and give some people some information on Medicaid and qualifying for Medicaid to pay for nursing homes and why Medicaid really gets a bad rap.
No, Tom, the Embassy Suites, you've been there
Absolutely.
right over here by that mall. And they have the big room full,
Yes.
right, John? I mean,
full.
There wouldn't have been room for a dance floor. I mean, this was wall to wall, and the information, I was there for much of it, was very interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. We actually had Alzheimer's Association into our office last week. We tried to do some lunch and learn types of things for the staff. And it's a terrible, terrible disease, and this was a great resource for Sheila. And I'm told her I was so happy that this went off well, the inaugural one. So I'm sure they're going to get better and better and better.
I remember, so if people don't know Sheila from Senior Home Care Solutions, she came in maybe 6 months ago. I'm going to do a conference. And that's how she talks. She's very passionate. She said, I'm just going to do it. I don't know. And she was focused and she started with 0 attendees, 0 sponsors. Must have been 30 vendors there, probably, John.
Oh, at least the hallway in front of the room, and then down the side was all the way to like the restroom breakfast area was both sides.
Yeah. Did you happen to hear what they're doing at the Nappy Wellness Center? Was there anything special?
I did not. I had to be in and out just because I had other appointments.
That was part of it. They were there.
They were a big part.
They were a big part. John, when you were there, were there any people pulling you aside and saying, "Hey, lawyer," and firing you a question? Was there any of that going on? If so, what was that about?
Well, mostly when we do these things, I have my team there, and my team kind of really handles all that stuff. I do get some technical legal questions, but most of the people would rather talk to my team members, right? Sometimes they're
better
apprehensive. They're fantastically better looking. Sometimes a little apprehensive talking to an attorney.
Well,
or think we're trying to
because
sell
you wear
something.
those flowing robes and everything.
Well, yeah, just to remind you.
No, just a side note. He did have a new sports coat, Tom.
Oh, did he?
Because the attorney has lost a little weight over the last year.
Did it have patches on the arms?
And I went and I said, "Hey, look at that." I said, "The coat's big." And he goes, "It's not. It's new." And it was. He looked.
Wasn't too big, but
he looked sharp. What were the questions in the forum? What were people asking?
There were questions that were done for Sheila had questions taking them.
Right.
So, should you get Medicaid, or can we, if we do some asset protection, we're not going to be able to get into the nursing home that we want to, which is wrong. If you do asset protection the correct way, you'll always have money to get into any nursing home should you need to, via a couple ways. You'll always have your retirement accounts that you can access, or through your trust planning, you can get out money to get into a nursing home. The other was, do I really want to be on Medicaid? There's a great misnomer out there. Talk about fake news, right? That you get less care if you're a Medicaid patient than if you are private pay in a nursing home. That's absolutely not true. The people caring for you don't know who's paying the bill.
Okay.
And it's actually illegal at both a federal and state level to treat you differently depending on who's paying the bill.
But every nursing home doesn't have to take Medicaid, right?
They do not.
Okay.
So some don't. Very few do not.
Okay. Because eventually, if someone doesn't make a plan, everyone runs out of money. Well, not everyone, but most people are going to run out of money at, how much is a nursing home?
Right now, $16,000 to $18,000 in our area a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that math is a lot.
I'm already out of the box.
All right, 16 times 12. Go ahead, Tom. Go.
Yeah.
Okay.
192.
There's always somebody in the room.
So, yeah, and people don't realize that, I don't think. And, of course, nobody's ever going to go into a nursing home.
Right.
But yet they're full.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so briefly, someone, I don't know if you talked about probate. Someone dies with an old will or a will. Just briefly unpack probate.
So, again, I just had a phone call with a lady the other day, yesterday. She couldn't understand why this had to happen. So her husband had died. He had a will. He also had a trust, but nothing was ever put into the trust. Okay. So he owned their property just in his name. And so the will had to be submitted to the probate court in New York State called surrogates court in order for the judge to approve the will. And she said, "Why? He left me everything." I said, "Well, his will left you everything, but his will hasn't been authenticated by the court." "Well, of course it's his will." "Well, that doesn't work that way, right? So it has to go to the court, and the court doesn't care who he gave things to for the most part. Was the will done correctly? That's what they're looking for. Were the person's heirs given notice of the will? Do they agree with the will? Do they want to contest the will? That's the probate process. And people just are flummoxed by why that has to be, and it kind of is.
Yeah. You know? Well, who wants to get in touch with John Murphy?
I don't know.
And how?
It's a piece of cake, safeharborwillsandtrust.com. So just put Safe Harbor, you'll find them online. 370-9977. Your case managers are standing by. I don't know if they're standing by. It's the weekend, but they will get back to you.
No, we're there 24/7. We just hook up
they get
a headset to them, and they have to wear it all weekend.
Answer a quick question. An old will is an old will. Without a trust, you mentioned people are typically in trouble. So 370-9977. John Murphy and the team at safeharborwillsandtrust.com.
Great. Thank you, John, and you have a great rest of the day, okay?
Thanks. You guys too.
Awesome. Lori Hunter's coming up next. She's the owner of Hunter Hollow Bunny B&B. We'll find out all about it on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.